welcome back to the Kingsway podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know it has been a little while for since we've put a video out, and I wanted to give an update, and I wanted to let you know that we have more videos coming very, very soon. And I appreciate your patience and kind of giving us the time here over the holiday season and then kind of in through the first of the year. There's some real reasons and why we had to take a break. One of them being it was Christmas and we had the holidays. But then the secondary reason that we kind of took a break was I got COVID. And so I have been not feeling my best, and I've been recovering, and I know a lot of you have been praying. And in fact, I will tell you, it's been almost exactly a month today, since I think it was January 18th or 19th. When I was diagnosed or given a positive test, diagnosed, sounds like horrible, then I got a positive test, and I will tell you, I'm still not 100%, and so I have been slowly working towards that and hoping. The other side of it is we have had some transitions behind the scenes here at Kingsway, that being that we have officially hired a new worship and discipleship pastor. His name is Ryan Defoe, and he is one of the guys that I know I am most excited about here in the coming episodes that would be coming up early in the next probably month. We will have him on the podcast. He was actually supposed to be here just a couple of days ago, but we had Arctic winds in Missouri. I don't know if you're around the Midwest or if you've heard anything, but we had, I think it was, John's in the room, was it minus 19? Is that where we peaked out?
Wind chill was negative 25.
Wind chill was negative 25. Okay, so I want to give you a frame of reference. I don't know if I have ever... No, I've never been in colder. I don't think I've ever been in colder temperatures than that. I was trying to think of a time, but I really don't. I went through years in Arizona where we had frost warnings because it was going to break below 32 degrees. That was what I grew up with. They would tell you to cover your plants because your plants could possibly die because it would frost. This was like your nose would fall off if you were outside for 5 minutes. I don't even know how to tell the difference between that. And, for me, I had a friend, Mr. Don, who I know went to Africa, and he got there and it was 85 degrees and it was, it was minus 10 here when he left. It was like almost 100-degree difference. Anyway, that being said, Ryan wasn't able to make it. And so because of that, we kind of had to delay. But I didn't want to wait any longer to let you know that we have awesome things planned for this year. We are going to continue this podcast. We're going to use it in the best way possible. We're going to continue to use it to update about our mission partners here at the church, to try to give you ways to grow and to learn, to be curious, to learn and to grow, to love it, and to choose to love others through it. I know for myself, it was a journey this last year to kind of make it kind of a goal to do this once a week. I hope that we can get back into that rhythm. Ryan and I are going to attempt to do that as soon as possible. You can even see me getting out of breath right now while trying to do this podcast. But the cool thing, and I wanted to lay kind of a foundation to kind of what I've been thinking through and one of the ththings that have been filling my heart. I listened to a podcast this morning off the Bible Project on this idea of unity, and Paul's talking about it out of Ephesians 2, and it made my heart so happy to hear someone explain kind of what I felt like has been going on in my own heart and my own mind over the last year with political stuff and the vaccines and the COVID and even inside the church and outside the church and with families and watching faith at times be something anything but unifying. And it frustrated me that I'm like, how has faith in Jesus become something that doesn't unify us anymore? How has it become something that is controversial and difficult and challenging to even mention without feeling like you're picking a side in a way that doesn't matter? Like, I'm fine with being with having it be controversial and to be a little difficult if I feel like it's for the right reasons, but when I feel like the conversation has been hijacked. And so when I heard this podcast, I encourage you, if you have not ever checked out the Bible Project podcast, please go do that. We may even put a link in the description. Can we do that, John? We're going to put a link in the description to the Bible Project podcast. But this is what the statement is. It's out of Ephesians chapter 2, verses 15 through 20. It's Paul talking about circumcision and non-circumcisions, Jews and Gentiles, which Jews and Gentiles really means Jews and then other nations, not Gentiles as all the nations but the Jews. And all he's trying to say, and what it's heard as, is we all are unified under Jesus. And how it gets misconstrued is it sounds like we all have to become one under Jesus, as in we all conform to be one group of people. And that sounds great until you realize that can be hijacked to be used in a really nasty way, aka Nazi Germany, aka any kind of anti-Semitic say that word, anti-Semite. I can't even say it. Anti-Jew movement, any kind of movement where it takes one group of people and it makes them, basically non-viable, not able to be a part of the whole. And so when it sounds like he's taking Jews and Gentiles and he's saying we have to become one, that sounds great. But really, we don't want another Tower of Babel moment where we're all just trying to be one group that just has one agenda. And so to reclaim that in this podcast, I just thought it was a beautiful way to explain it. And I know I'm saying a lot of words to say a simple thing, but this is what I want you to hear, because this is what unity is not conforming over an idea. Unity is actually hospitality. And so the whole point of this is recognizing that there's always going to be differences between Jews and the nations, between groups of people. There's always going to be cultural things, and we can't deny that those are a part of who we are and what we've grown up with. Yes, we need to eliminate the things that are preying on the innocent. Yes, we need to eliminate the things that are unholy and to work our lives that way. But we don't need to eliminate the things that set us apart in those. Some of those things are just flat different. And so what he's saying is what sets the nation of God, the kingdom of God, apart is how we treat one another in those moments, how we are hospitable to things that are different than the way we think and the way we feel and the way we see the world. And that's what's going to set this new kingdom apart. So when he says that in Ephesians 2, this is what brings us, this is what breaks the barrier. It's what Jesus has done is he has treated the world in this way, that while they were still dead in their sin, he chose to be hospitable in his grace, to be beyond what we deserved, and to shower us with love. And that's what's going to bring us back. It's not making everybody figure out one way to live in the sense of our cultural differences and how we've grown up and what we've seen. It's going to be fighting to love and to be patient and to be kind and to come underneath that banner. And when I heard that in the podcast, and it's much more brilliantly said and much more explained in the Greek and how they arrived there, and I think it's really important. It was good for me. I think it's important for us moving forward in this year to recognize that as we're learning and growing, we are not learning this to weaponize it. We are learning it to change the way that we love, change the way that we live, change the way that we are unifying through our hospitality to the people around us, being patient and kind to those that are different. And I think if we can do that, I think 2021, no matter if we have pleurisy of the lungs or if we're struggling with cold temperatures or lack of in-person learning or difficulty with family or challenges financially or with personal things, I think we can choose to be unified in that. And so reading that and then reading this to you, these are Jesus's words about the kingdom of God. Knowing that the kingdom of God is not about conformity, but about hospitality, and recognizing that we have to be hospitable to things that are different. I love what Jesus says about his words about the kingdom of God in Matthew chapter 5 and 7. He ends this whole Sermon on the Mount by saying this: "Therefore, anyone who bears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, yet it did not fall because its foundations were on the rock." I think for me, this is what I want in 2021. I want to put my house, put my life, put the things that I believe in and what I believe our future is for, not only here at Kingsway, but I think for the world. I just want us to put ourselves back on the rock and recognize there's a way to live that he is trying to teach us that is worthy of that. So, hey, thanks so much for tuning in. I know this was a short video. I know it was more of an update to tell you that we're going to be back soon. We always appreciate it if you hit the like button or hit the subscribe button if you want to hear more. I know that this is going to be a place where we're trying to keep consistency to you. Love to learn and lovers that love to learn. That's always how I mess that up. I always love that. John, don't put your head down. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. You have a great and glorious day in the Lord. Keep your head up. Be hospitable and loving, kind and patient. Put your house on the rock. We'll see you later.